Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday night. My special guest tonight has a brand new collection of duets that has just been released on CD, and we're going to tell you all about that and where you can get a copy of it tonight. And, of course, we're going to play a bunch of the songs from the album for you. And this lady is one of my favorite people to interview and one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet in country music. It's a pleasure to welcome Leona Williams to My Kind of Country.
Well, hi, Scott. I'm glad to be on your show, and thank you. And, I'm still trying to keep it country.
Well, you certainly are, and I have to say, I always enjoy our conversations. You've been so gracious with your time to be on my show, and you're a big supporter of My Kind of Country, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that, Leona.
Aw, so nice. Thank you very much.
Well, you've got a wonderful new collection of duets that you have just released, and before we talk about the album itself, I do want to mention that the CDs themselves were made by Favor Media, and that's your son-in-law, Pat Coyne.
Yes, Pat is so good with helping so many people, musicians, artists, whatever, and music business, to get their music out there and get it heard, and stuff. And he fixed up this idea of mine to put. I've done so many duets. This is just a part of the duets that I've done, but I got 24 duets on there on this CD, and I'm really proud of it.
Well, as well you should be, and it's a beautiful package. And folks, you can visit Favor Media on Facebook. I'm going to put the link on the My Kind of Country page. If you need to get some CDs done, they are the best. They do a wonderful job. The covers are beautiful, the quality is great, and they're very inexpensive, and they have a quick turnaround time, and I can't recommend them enough. I've sent some people Pat's way, and they've always been very happy with the business. So
Great.
Check it out for sure. Well, you've got, as you mentioned, Leona, a great collection of duets on here. And yeah, I know there's probably enough for another volume, but you hit some of the best ones on here. And you've got some people that are great independent artists and some of the legends that you've sang with over the years. And the one I want to start with is, I have to tell you in all sincerity, in our house, when we listen to the song Jackson, it's by Gary West and Leona Williams. It's the definitive version.
Yes, I never sang that before in my life till I got with Gary. They wanted me to sing that with him, and I said, heck yeah, I'll do that. And, of course, I heard that so many times through the years. I loved that record, and I've heard other people do it besides Johnny and June, but I love Johnny and June. So, anyways, I thought, yeah, I can do that. So, anyways, he was such a good singer, too, Yes.
Gary is one of the best and nice people and
Gary
great people.
Wonderful.
You bet. And there is a cool video for that song, too. We'll put that link on our Facebook page if you haven't already seen it. We've done a feature on that, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a lot of fun. You could tell you guys really enjoyed making the music in the studio there.
Yeah, that was fun with being with all that whole band. It was great.
Absolutely. And your daughter, Kathy, is on this CD. You've got a couple songs with her. Tell me a little bit about those.
Well, Kathy, she put together her own CD ideas and everything, and she put out a gospel CD. And it's just, I'm proud to be on it. She's my sweet daughter, and she's been singing for, since she's a little bitty girl, singing harmony. She's always been great. Just that she never was, trying to do anything, but she decided she'd make her a CD. So she's got a couple of them out there. The one you're talking about there would be the gospel, and Ron and I, my son Ron that sings, he and I and Kathy sang Family Bible together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And, we always love to sing that, so that's a good song.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You guys did, on the CD, you did Manhattan, Kansas, and then you also did Jesus, It's Me, too.
Yes, we did. Yep, that's right.
Beautiful songs. And Kathy's albums, she's got one called Sitting on Top of the World, and she's also got one called I Know Someone Who Can. That's the gospel one that you were just mentioning. And
Yes.
I expect you could probably get a hold of those through Favor Media, I would think, right?
I would say yes, you bet.
Yeah, and we've got them here. If anybody's interested, you can always get a hold of us, too. We can get you in touch with Kathy on those.
Yeah.
The great music. And you mentioned Ron, too. You guys did Somewhere Between. It was never a hit for Merle Haggard, but it certainly has become a fan favorite. And you and Ron did a beautiful job on it.
Well, thank you. We've been singing that off and on for a long time, and so we thought we'd put that on here. Ron is just a wonderful singer, and you know, if things were like they used to be, I think Ron could be a huge star. But you know, he's you know, you got to have a backer and all that stuff these days. And anyways, he sure is a good singer.
He sure is.
And stuff, so.
And I know that he goes out and does a lot of shows with you, and
yes, he does.
He's a great guy. He's been on my show. I've gotten to meet him, and I love that song he did called "The F Words." That's one of my favorite songs.
Bill Anderson wrote that.
Oh man, that is such a great song. I love that thing. I've played that on my show probably a lot more than I should, but I love it.
That is a good song. Good. He done a good job on it for sure.
Yes, he did.
Oh goodness.
Folks, this album is called Leona Williams Duets. There's 24 songs on it. It is available at leonawilliams.com, and she has a little shop tab there. If you go to her website and click that, all of her music that's available is going to come right up there, and you can just click and order it right from Leona. And I'm pretty sure that you'll be happy to autograph any of the CDs for people and just let them know, right?
I sure will. Just make sure you tell me. I usually autograph them, you know, anyway, before I send them out. But especially on this new one, I've got them autographed for sure.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you sending me one. It's a treasured thing to have in my collection. I think I've got just about all your stuff, and I'm very proud to have your CDs and your record albums in my collection.
Well, thank you. Well, any of those CDs, anything like that, why, all you have to do is ask, because we'll send them to you, Scott. You sure have been good to us. We appreciate it.
Well, it goes both ways. You guys have always been big supporters of my station, and like I said, we've had a lot of great times, and we go back a long way. We got to spend some time at the Ernest Tubb Midnight Jamboree a few years back, and then I think I met you for the first time. I was just a kid when you were touring with Merle, and you've always been nice to me. I've never forgotten that.
Yeah, that was a lot. I think I was too. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been a long time ago. But he and I had the Bull and the Beaver song. It was a top 10 record for us, you know, back there, and we got together in '75. So you know, we were together for 9 years, and you know, working the road and writing, and mainly, and we got married, you know. I always say this in fun. We got to having too much fun, and we got married. Oh, but anyways, Merle was a fan of mine. He liked Yes Ma'am. He found me in a honky tonk, and he liked Once More, a couple records I had out back in those days. And I was on the Opry a lot, and I was just doing the Grand Ole Opry, you know, in Nashville here, and just you know, had a great career. And then I got with Merle, and I kind of cooled off a little bit because, you know, Merle's such a big star and such a wonderful singer. Everybody was behind him, and so was I, you know. So it's a wonderful thing that a wonderful career I've had, you know, and I'm thankful.
Well, you certainly have, and I listened to so many of Merle's records from that era, and hear that beautiful harmony that you did, and the album that you guys did together too. The Heart to Heart album was just beautiful, and I love that. I know that was kind of at a difficult time when that came out, but you guys put out some great music, and the Bull and the Beaver was actually before that. And
it was back in the day of CB radios. It was real popular, and I told Merle I'd like to have a CB radio, you know, and so he said, well, you know, whatever. And then we were driving, we were in Nashville, we were thinking about going to Gatlinburg or somewhere to just get away from Nashville and the music for a minute, you know, and stuff. So anyway, we were in the bus. He's driving the big old bus, you know, of his, and I'm on there, and I mentioned that I'd like to have that CB radio, and he said, well, what would your handle be? And I said, well, golly, I hadn't thought of that. He said, how about the Beaver from Missouri? And I thought, oh, okay. I said, what would your handle be? And you think, and about that time we looked up, and there was this big sign that said, Bull of the Woods chewing tobacco. I said, okay, how about you be the Bull of the Woods? And then we started just laughing. And we started thinking up silly stuff to say in this song. We wrote this song, and we never did get Gatlinburg. We got down there and sang in this song and acting silly and stuff, and we turned around and came back to Nashville and went to the recording studio and recorded it, put it out, and it was a top 10 record for us.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then when we were in the studio, we were just saying things back and forth, and they kept some of that stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. we sound like we was having too much fun, but it's just sometimes it's good to get away and have fun instead of being serious all the time,
That's for sure. It's a great record. We're going to play it tonight, and of course it is on this brand new CD, Leona Williams 24 Duets. There's another song that you did with Merle on here, and I'm curious to hear the story behind this because it's not on anything else that I've ever found. It's called A Letter to George, and it's obviously talking about George Jones.
Well, this lady was a friend of some of the Jones boys, down in, I think it was Louisiana or down in there somewhere. And anyway, one night, Merle and I was doing this show, and she brought me a tape. And, she said she was about to cry, and she said, if you and Merle would record one of my songs, I could maybe go to the dentist and get my teeth fixed. And I was like, oh, my gosh, and, so anyways, I took her tape, and hugged her and whatever. And anyways, later on, Merle was saying, oh, you're not going to find any hit songs out like that, whatever. Somebody just come out and hand you a cassette tape, And so anyway, later on, the next morning he was up, we went down to get breakfast at the hotel, and he come back up to the room, and he had a little cassette player and this cassette, and he said, I found us a hit song. So anyways, he had this song called Letter to George in it, and anyways, we wound up going to the studio from that weekend there of shows, came back and recorded that, and that was hard for me to sing because it was about George Jones, because she was a huge fan of George's, just like me. And George was kind of having a hard time at that time. And so, anyways, all this has a story, but it's all true. And this sweet lady, after we recorded it, I sent her some money to go get her teeth fixed. I felt so sorry for her, So, anyway, that's my story on that little song.
There's some fantastic songs on here. You've got some songs with some independent artists that you've done. Tony Kerr is one that I really like a lot, and you've got a couple songs with him on here, and Colleen Gallagher and my gosh, Billy Keeble.
Yes.
There's some great songs on. Tell me about some of these great independent artist songs that you've done.
Well, Tony Kerr, he's from Ireland. We've toured Ireland several times. And they gave me an award over there one time, Female Singer of the Year and Songwriter and all that. And Ron got Male Vocalist of the Year and, whatever. And anyways, Tony Kerr every time we go, we're always with Tony and his little wife Eileen. And Tony is such a great singer. And so, anyways, he wanted me to do some duets with him over there. So we did. And he came back to Missouri, he and his wife, and stayed a while, and we booked some shows together, and I let all my friends that I could hear him, and he did the Midnight Jamboree with me and, different things in Nashville. So, anyway, Tony's a great singer, and we did a couple of duets, and always proud to sing with Tony.
Yeah, beautiful
Kerr.
songs. Beautiful songs. Just Out of Reach, which is a gorgeous song, and then Just Between the Two of Us, which was a big hit for Merle and Bonnie Owens back in '65.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Bonnie was a good friend of mine. She actually, me and her both a few times sang on the show with Merle, and stuff, singing together and everything. And she was a good friend, and she was always there to promote everything. She was even my bridesmaid when I got married to Merle. That was great. But anyways, she was a wonderful lady. And then I have a fella on here, Joe Paul Nichols.
Yeah.
He's from down in Texas. He's passed away now, but he was a great singer. And then there's, of course, Frankie Miller. You know, he had the song Blackland Farmer,
Oh,
a big hit for him in country music. And then there's Johnny Bush on there.
Oh, I love that one. Johnny Bush was great. I did actually his last interview before he passed away. And,
oh, really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
He is just a monster talent. Well, you go to Texas, and you're hard pressed not to hear Johnny Bush songs when you're down there. That's for
Boy,
sure.
that's the truth. Yeah, he was wonderful. You bet.
You guys did a song called "The Wall" on this project.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, great album.
And Johnny, I don't think he'd ever sang too many duets, but he wanted me to do one with him, you know. So
Absolutely.
I got to do that. I was very thankful. And then I got one of the best singers ever is Damon Gray.
Yeah.
And he, in Nashville, if you're in Nashville, at the Music City Bar and Grill, he sings there not every night, but probably once or twice a month. He'll sing like 2 nights in a row there with that band, and they are so good. And Damon and I did a song that called "We're Strangers Again," which I had wrote, and he liked it, so we did that song. And then, of course, Mac Wiseman. He wanted me to sing with him on a song one time. So Mac was a real good friend of ours. And then they have the Dillards. Rodney and Beverly Dillard were, and still are, real good friends of ours. And, you know, Rodney was on Andy Griffith's show with the Dillards and all that, you know. Rodney's such a good singer. So anyways, I just have a lot of information about this CD right here, I'll tell you.
Well, it's a lot of great music, that's for sure. And there's 24 songs on here. It's just jam-packed with good country music and wonderful, wonderful duets. Tell me about Colleen Gallagher. I was not familiar with Colleen.
Colleen and her husband, they have a band together called Route 67.
Okay.
Up here in Missouri, southeast Missouri, and their band is fabulous. And when we need a band, you know, we don't carry a band all the time, but when we need one, we have to carry a band. That's who we get in Missouri or somewhere, you know, close to Missouri or sometimes other places, you know. But her and her husband have a great band, and she sings so good and plays bass. And so, anyway, she heard this song that I'd had, and she was going to record. She said, "Would you do a duet with me?" So we figured out maybe we could do that Bad Girl song, you know, that me and Vera Lakey wrote one time. Vera was a girl that sang with me during the time I was with Merle. I was opening the shows, and I had Vera singing harmony with me on the show. So, anyways, Vera and I wrote the song, Bad Girls. We wrote it all in fun one time. And so me and Colleen recorded it, so it turned out good.
It sure did. And Leona, you've done some great bluegrass music. You did a fabulous bluegrass album some years ago, and you did a song with the great Jimmy Martin on this project too.
Yes, I sure did. Yeah, I was proud to sing with Jimmy. I like Jimmy Martin and all them good bluegrass players, Osborne Brothers, McCormick Brothers, all them. All through the years, I loved all their music, and then to get to go to Nashville and to get in the music business myself and get to meet Jimmy Martin and all those people, it was just so special, you know.
You bet.
And bluegrass, I love bluegrass, and Rhonda Benson's from Missouri, and she's my buddy, and she's just being very successful right now with her music, and I'm so proud of her. So I like all country and bluegrass myself, you know, and I got some of it on here for sure.
That's for sure. Gary Reagan was another one that you did Yesterday's Gone. I've had Gary on the show before, and he's another fabulous singer too.
Yes, he is. He sure is.
And you've got a beautiful version of Dear John with Ferlin Husky.
Oh, yeah, old Ferlin, yeah. He and Sweet Jean did that years ago, Jean Shepherd.
Yeah.
She was my buddy, and so, anyways, we were recording, and looking for a duet, so we just thought we'd do that one again, Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the George Jones one that was on his Ladies' Choice album back in 1984, Best Friends, and that starts off the collection. I think that's a primo song to start with.
Yeah, that was the song that I'd written there that was just kind of a true story, kind of like talking to George,
What was it like recording with George Jones?
Oh, I loved it. I love George Jones. He's been my favorite singer all through the years, and I like all these people. I love so many. I could name them on, but George was just something about his music. I liked the way he phrased and all that. He's just had such great records and stuff. And one time, I got to tell you a funny story. One time, Merle was with me here in Nashville, and we were we were there at my house in Tennessee, and we got a call from George. He said, in his way, he said, "Hey, Leona," he said, me and Billy Wilhite, his manager, he said, "We're out here at the airport." He said, "Could you come out here and pick us up? We need to get to Hendersonville, And I said, "Sure, I can do that." I said, "Merle's here." Merle wouldn't drive in the Nashville traffic, and stuff. So I said, "Well, he won't drive in it, but I will. We'll come get you." So we went out there and picked George and Billy up, and they were sitting in the back seat, and Merle was sitting on the passenger side. We driving back to Hendersonville, and Merle liked to tease me a lot. He said, "Now, Leona, you got me and old George Jones both in this car with you. Now tell us, who's your favorite singer?" And I said, "It's always been George Jones, and you know what? It still is." And they got the biggest laugh out of that, So, anyways, as I was thinking about that several times, laughing about it and stuff, I should have said Conway Twitty or somebody, But they've got the biggest kick out of that and stuff. So, anyways, I've always tried to laugh and have a lot of fun and treat everybody good,
And were you in the studio when you recorded that with George, or did you overdub your parts?
No, I was in there with him. Yeah.
Well, I've heard that he's very difficult to phrase with because he doesn't sing the same way twice. And how did that go for you?
Oh, it was real easy, real good. We had it finished in no time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, George was easy to record with, because I just kind of knew how he'd phrase, and stuff. And, and I may have overdubbed or went back and redone a couple things on my part or something, but I knew kind of how he'd do it. I don't know, I just followed his pattern, But he's a good singer.
You have a special gift about doing duets, and you always just blend so well with whoever you're singing with. I don't know how you do it, but I got to tell you, it's absolutely beautiful.
Aw, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I try to do the best I know how,
I think this collection is a fabulous tribute to the wonderful duets you've done, and I hope folks will pick up a copy of it, leonawilliams.com. And the album is called Leona Williams Duets, 24 songs, and we're going to play a bunch of them for you tonight here on My Kind of Country. And Leona, what's coming up for you this year? Are you playing quite a bit down in Branson, and what's coming up for you?
We're working on trying to figure out the schedule for this place in Branson, where we work at once a month. I'm not sure if we're doing that this year because there's so many other things coming up, but I'm going to be in Gatlinburg, Tennessee for a whole week with this North American Country Music Association, NACMA.
Yep.
And they put me in their Hall of Fame down there a few years ago, and I'm going to go down there this year. They want me to help maybe announce some of the stuff going on, and there's a big show, and they're inducting several major people into that Hall of Fame there on the 15th, I believe it is, on that Saturday of March. And I'm going to be helping with whatever I can, because they asked me, and you know me, I can't turn it down. And it's pretty down in that area, and it's going to be great. So I'm going there, and I'm going to the Steel Guitar Show in Illinois, up there in April, and there's just a whole bunch of different things that I'm doing. But anyways, I'll be busy. Right now is just whenever people are starting to book.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I have an album that has a duet with, it's called Grassroots CD, and I got a song on it with Ben Skill.
Oh, wow.
And I'd written this song, you know, and so, anyways, there's several songs on there, you know, as well. And I've got a bunch of my different CDs listed on my website, LeonaWilliams.com. And my newest thing I've done is Keeping It Country. And that's on there as well.
You can pick them all up at LeonaWilliams.com, and I highly recommend it, including this new Duets project. And as I said, we're going to play a whole bunch of the songs for you right now. And Leona, as always, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, not only for your friendship and your support, but for this wonderful music that you've put out there for everybody to enjoy.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you do for me and for so many others, and for Ron and Kathy, my wonderful singing children, and I appreciate it a whole bunch. And take care, and thank you for having me on your show.
Well, my honor always. Thank you for taking the time. Here's some great music from Leona Williams, the Duets album, folks. LeonaWilliams.com as we continue with My Kind of Country. Thanks again, Leona.
Thank you.